Welcome to First Things First. I'm Brooke Bullitt and my pronouns are she and her.
I'm Maddie Mills. My pronouns are he and him. And before we get started, we'd like to acknowledge the custodians of the land on which we record. And for me today, that's the Gadigal People of the Eora Nation.
And for me, it's the Rowland People of the Lindyn Nation. And let's get into it, Maddie.
Oh, look who you have in studio.
I know.
I'm jealous.
We got some black excellence. So you got to introduce yourself.
My name's Lindyn Rowland, proud Wiradjuri and Wyburn Island man.
So I've been wanting to have you in studio for ages.
Yeah.
Like, I've been harassing this mom, literally being like, can we have Lindyn? Can we have Lindyn?
And they're like, no.
No, it's just
It took a while to convince me.
It's just
It was all Maddie, and Maddie was like, I don't know.
I was absolutely no until I saw you at the Cowboy Carter party. And I was like, well, guess what?
Well,
he can come. He's
that
a
part.
yes. It's a yes from me. Golden buzzer, man.
I
Not the
have
other times that we've been
FOMO.
together.
So you're a First Nations business owner of Rowland Vision, which is sunglasses, and you've just released a perfume. Which
Perfume.
Is, do perfume.
Yeah,
We were talking
coming
about
out soon.
Yes, so coming soon. But you're also a stylist, designer, model, and previously worked as a health practitioner. That's wholesome as shit.
Okay, Mr. I
Yeah.
can do everything.
That part.
Literally,
Everything.
I said to him, I was like, you've been busy.
Yeah.
It's actually scary. No, because when me and Brooke were just going through it before, I was like, wait, I'm only 25. I've done a lot.
25.
Yeah.
Fuck. You, I guess, represent what black excellence can look like, and it is, to be fair, because I only came across your profile through TikTok, and you're pretty big on TikTok. You're known for your intro, which
God.
is...
Hi, my titters and booties.
Can you explain to the listeners exactly what that phrase means?
All right. So in my language, it could be different in other like mobs' language, but titters is sisters and booties is dicks.
Yeah, sisters and dicks.
Love
Sisters and
it.
dick, yeah.
Titters and dicks. I mean, I've only came across your profile through TikTok, and then I moved to Melbourne, and then we cross paths like a lot of the time.
Yeah.
A lot in, I guess, at events and fashion. What was your first intro into that sort of space? Was it through
Ooh.
TikTok, or was it generally for your business or through...
I think it was through TikTok. I moved to Brisbane before I moved to Melbourne. So I grew up in Newcastle.
Yeah.
So I moved to Brisbane during COVID, and then an opportunity come up to walk in the First Nations fashion and design runway. So I did that, and that opened up so many doors. And then I got asked to walk in Melbourne Fashion Week in... When did COVID end? It's just still
21?
happening.
20,
Yeah, like
21?
lockdown.
Yeah.
She's still going on.
Oh, yeah, she's still hanging around the bitch.
Yeah, so Melbourne like opened up its doors and Fashion Week was on, and then I was just introduced to like the whole industry here.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
has a chokehold on me.
I want to ask, where's Wyburn Island? Because
Thursday.
Thursday Island.
So the
okay.
Torres Straits, yeah.
Yep.
But I call it the traditional name.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
we've got to normalise that for the people out there, you know?
That.
Linda, I want to ask you, you're a fashion stylist, you're a designer, a model, you've done a lot. What is some of the parts that you love the most? Like, is there one that you're sort of more inclined to stick with, or are you
Biggest
going to do it all
question.
forever?
Honestly, it's really connecting with different mobs and like meeting like my people. Like if I didn't do everything, like let's say like the health practitioner stuff, if I didn't work in a clinic here, if I didn't walk in runways and black runways, if I didn't do everything that I've been doing in like the past like few years, I wouldn't have crossed paths with like you guys, like, you know, like I wouldn't have done that. And it's definitely like opened up doors, and it's like made me more confident in like what I do.
I feel like we just feel so much more culturally safe in our places. Like,
Yeah.
and I think we're making waves.
Yeah.
Like, I think the industry has grown. Like, I think just even when, I guess, exposed to the media in 2018,
Yeah.
the industry has shifted hugely. And I think, I've watched it sort of from afar, but also been inserted. And I think, like, you are a visionary who actually has also changed a lot in the industry in terms of TikTok. And I guess we didn't really speak on it, but you were the visionary voice for TikTok Australia for Sydney Mardi Gras, which
Yeah.
is huge, right? Yeah. Maddie, like, you were a Sydney Mardi Gras ambassador.
For World Pride.
For World
I was,
Pride,
yeah.
yeah. And so when have we ever seen these First Nations people really taking up these spaces until really more now? Like, yes, we had our visionaries like Deborah Mailman, Ernie Dingo, you know,
Kathy
our musicians.
Freeman.
Exactly. We did, But I think now in our little spaces, which, you know, they're great athletes, they're great musicians, they're great, like, models, whoever. But we had our visionaries. And I think, like, you know, TikTok wasn't a thing back in the day, right? So, like, you know, our spaces, like fashion industry, TikTok, social media, you know, it's a growing industry and it's always going to be around. Like, we're not going to get rid of it. It's not going anywhere. So
Nowhere.
We've got to adapt. And I think, like, having, you know, visionary voices and role models and, you know, First Nations people taking up space, I feel like you take up that space and it's, like, so amazing to watch. You just make me proud because you take up that space. And you deserve that space.
Thank you.
Does that make sense?
It does. Yeah, it does.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Nothing warm from that.
Oh, well, let's
that.
make you even warmer. Let's go back to little Lindyn. I want to know about who you were as a young kid and what inspired you to be who you are today. Like, were there moments or pivotal moments or light bulb moments where you're like, I'm going to do that, and then you've gone on to achieve them? Like, what was little Lindyn like, and what was your childhood like?
Oh, I could go for days. I always knew I was going to be something.
Yeah.
No, I did.
Some people are born with that, eh?
No, literally. Like, I feel like even at a young age, I just pictured, like, people in my face, like paparazzi. So I'm still waiting for that.
Okay.
I've been manifesting since.
Maddie, we
young.
talk about this. Hey, like, you know that you want something and you go for it.
Yeah, but I feel like it's not normal for a lot of people. And I've spoken to friends and I'm like, oh, do you ever, like, just want to wake up one day and be famous? And they're like, no, like, I don't want that. And I'm like, oh, it kind of scares me because I'm like, oh, I want that. Like, I want to live that Kim Kardashian lifestyle, you know?
Yeah.
I've never changed. And, like, even when, like, I started, like, popping off, like, on TikTok, I remember my sister saying to me, she was like, never change. And I'm like, nah, I would never. And I always have to, like, check up on her. And I'm like, do you reckon I've changed a bit? And she's like, no. So it's good. So I feel like what you see now is what I was back in the day. But I'm out of the closet now.
Yeah.
Young Linda was in the closet hiding until 18, 19.
How did you hide your fabulousness? Was it like trying to be, or you couldn't?
No, I couldn't. I was obsessed with Lady Gaga, so I couldn't.
Okay.
There was no
Telltale sign number one.
No, literally, this little black boy, this little black straight boy listening to Lady Gaga 24/7 and had a shrine as well.
So what was the song that really resonated with you that sort of made you a big Gaga fan?
This is so gay, this story, but my mum took me to the Pussycat Dolls concert when I was in year 6.
She was the support act.
Yeah, she was a support act.
You're kidding.
And then I went there in love with the Pussycat Dolls. Like, I've been a raging gay since I was probably born. So it was no surprise to my family. And they're taking me to a Pussycat Dolls concert. Like, hello.
Yeah.
And
that's allyship, you know?
Yeah. My mother,
Allyship in
Doreen, ally. She loves it.
You're twirling out of the womb.
Literally. Yeah, she got a lesbian daughter too. So she loves her. Yeah.
I love that.
Her
Her
world
world
is
is
bisexual.
That's
I don't
a
know.
real queer
She hit the
friendly
fucking
family.
jackpot.
She
I'm happy for
did.
her.
Yeah. And then I've got a brother as well, but I don't know what he is. But yeah, Lady Gaga was the support act and I walked out like in love with her. Like, I loved her. I don't know what song it was. I don't know. I still remember it, like, visually. I was like, yeah, that bitch, I love her. People always be like, oh, like, are you still obsessed with her? And I feel like I've transitioned and I've always loved Beyonce.
Yeah.
Ooh.
But everyone knows, like, on my social media, and if you know me, like, I'm obsessed with Beyonce.
Yeah.
Same.
And everyone's like, oh, how did you, like, transition into, like, going from Gaga to Beyonce? But I feel like Gaga helped me come out. But then growing up, you find yourself more and you become proud of, like, who you are.
Yeah.
And as I grew up, I was like, I got prouder and prouder and I dug deep into, like, my culture. And that's what Beyonce, like, brings to the table.
Yeah.
She does.
yeah.
She, like, knows her roots. And I think that this new album, I don't know much about Beyonce, to be fair.
Don't get me started.
You guys, you and Maddie,
Yeah.
we talk about Beyonce all the time. Like,
Yeah.
but
she-
the time I thought Mariah Carey was white.
Wait, what is she?
I actually deleted that from my brain until 1 minute ago when you just said it again. Wait there. I've just deleted
What
it
is
again.
she?
See, Lindyn! She's,
Lindyn!
What is she?
No, I'm done.
Walk out, go, dramatic.
Yeah, I'm fucking done.
Now
with
she's got to be
this shit.
something.
If you both think that Mariah Carey is white, I'm done with this shit.
No, I
You can
didn't
have
know.
the podcast.
I
I'm
didn't
out.
think she was white.
Bye. See ya.
That's the video.
And that's it.
Yeah.
We're done.
Yeah. I genuinely.
Is she black?
She is
Oh,
black.
fucking
She's
hell.
a black
Is Stevie
woman.
Wonder
No.
blind?
I know.
No, don't get into that because I don't think he is. No, have you heard the story that he reversed out of a driveway?
No, can I just say something? One of the main things that I think about on a day-to-day basis is that Stevie Wonder will never get to see how beautiful Beyonce is.
Oh, I think that all the time, but he's not blind, so he sees.
So he sees.
He be
Stevie
seeing
Wonder
her.
sees. He sees with his heart.
Okay, let's go back to, I want to know, you obviously spoke about Gaga being, a major part to you coming out and being comfortable
Yeah.
with yourself, but then you resonate with Beyonce and her culture through her music, but also the black struggle. What, other than those two musicians, inspired your creativity?
I don't know. I honestly just think it was Gaga and Beyonce. Like, I love every artist for like what they do, but those two women have really done something for me. Like, yeah, like Gaga, she was there for like when I needed to come out, and she had like powerful like moments, and she still is. And then Beyonce really just, I know she really has that cultural impact on like not just me, like on everyone, every
Yeah.
black person out there, like
Yeah.
African, Indian, Aboriginal, everyone. So yeah, I think it's just Beyonce.
I
Yeah.
mean, I grew up listening to, Destiny Childs and Beyonce and Akon and
Akon, you
Prince.
are old maiden.
I am. Like, that was my mum's
Convict.
music. Yeah, literally. And
Doesn't get blacker than Akon.
That part.
yeah,
I'm
it's
so
like,
lonely.
oh my God.
Come on, Maddie.
I have no
You are lonely over there in Sydney.
I actually am. There's no one in the studio with me, and I feel like I'm fucking going crazy.
Poxy.
But yeah, we talk about role modeling and I guess like inspiration and like people that make us feel grounded or like, sort of help us sort of validate and solidify ourselves and our identity as well.
Yeah.
I mean, when did you come out?
Well, I came out bisexual when I was 18. I know that's pretty crazy, but I feel like that was like a stepping stone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I actually was bisexual for a moment. Not many people know this. Let's get into it.
Yeah.
I actually was sleeping with a girl for like a year and a half after I came out gay. So I came out gay a year after I came out bisexual, but I was actually sleeping with a girl for a year and a half
Wow.
during that time. Very confusing, isn't it?
Well, no, I think it's. I
But
think.
was it confusing for you?
No, I was just
you-
horny.
Yeah.
What
Maddie,
did you
know?
like about that? What did you like about that experience, and what kept you going back?
I actually don't know. I think I was just really horny and just had a connection with this girl. She was actually my high school best friend. I'm actually still friends with her. I love her.
That's
Shout out
nice.
to you,
Yeah.
Chrissy.
Wow.
Thanks, Chrissy. Thanks
Love
for
ya.
letting me.
That's amazing. And so you would just have sex, purely just sex, and then it'll be done and you'd be friends?
Yeah, like my whole family knew and everything.
Yep.
It was
So
very
you
random.
came out gay, and then they knew that you were with Chrissy.
Yeah, we weren't
Right?
like, we weren't like, together,
But,
but like I feel like we both were just like horny and we had
Yeah.
a bit of fun.
Yeah.
good on
You know,
you.
you got to live.
I feel
Yeah.
like, well, that's the age and time that you're experimenting, and
Yeah, I think it was like
you know.
19,
Yeah.
20.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
You know, Maddie, have you ever slept with a girl?
Yeah, I had a girlfriend for a whole year. I slept with her many times, 7 times in one day, actually, in her grandma's house.
Oh my god.
I know. Yeah.
And you know what? I still stand by this. It's probably some of the best sex I've had in all my life.
I love that.
Yeah.
And I feel like, you know, I'm gay right now, but I would never say that I would never sleep with a woman again.
Yeah, people always ask me, they're like, would you sleep with a woman? And I was like, yeah, like women are hot.
Right?
But my main concern, I feel like, about that is that I feel like I'll be judged by the woman for like being gay.
No,
You know,
never.
like I've always thought, oh, if I was to like not have a boyfriend, which I'm in a happy relationship right now, but
Yeah.
could I date a girl? I probably could date a girl and sleep with a girl, but would my concern would be that they would judge me for being with a man,
Not the right woman, though.
you know?
I don't think the right, like if you're going to hook up
Yeah.
with someone, surely they'll be genuine and good and, not judgmental.
I feel like there's like girls out there that probably love that. They probably feed
Yeah.
off it, you know?
Honestly, to be fair with you, I would actually love to meet, and I have met some bisexual men a lot, actually.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
a willing bisexual man that would want to have sex with me.
Yeah.
I think when I've met bisexual men, they're more inclined to date men in that time. I think they're just like in that era, and I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
But I'm like, oh, like, do you not want to like hook up with me? Like, you know what I mean? So I actually think the bisexual man, they don't openly talk about it because there is that like stigma of
that
like
stigma.
oh, you're just gay. Like
To be
you don't
judged.
want to be with a woman. You're just gay, or you're confused, or you haven't figured it out. Like, shut the fuck up. If I say I'm something, like, it's the same with bisexual women. Like, there's such a negative like stigma around bisexual women still to this day around like, oh, you just don't know what you want, or you're greedy and blah 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 blah. We've all heard it. We've had these conversations all the time, and I constantly get it now to this day. I think even when I've gone on first dates and I'm like, oh yeah, like I previously had a girlfriend, and they're like, oh, so you like bisexual, and I'm like, I'm just Brooke. And I think pansexuality is like also, again, chucked into that whole bisexual category. Mm-hmm. It's good to have these conversations, like really about where you've been at in life and what you prefer and what you like. And I guess like you're not inclined just because you've dabbled into this. It doesn't mean you have to pigeonhole yourself 100%. Yeah. Like I always say this, like I'll go back on the puswa train eventually, but I'm not on the puswa train right now.
Yeah, I won't be back on that puswa. I love the Bardon. And I have a boyfriend.
You have a boyfriend.
Italian stallion.
Yeah.
Ooh, speaking of Italian stallion, is this the reason you're moving to Italy?
Look, maybe not maybe 50-50. I always felt like I was going to move to another country.
Yeah.
But obviously my boyfriend's Italian. His family lived there, which makes it so much like better and easier for us to be connected like into the community there. And I want to live somewhere where it still has its culture. So like, I know not to get deep, but like coming to Australia, like if like as a foreigner, you have to seek to go find our culture, like Aboriginal culture. Like it's not just there, you know? When you go to Italy, you're literally just looking at it like bricks and shit. Like
you're immersed.
Yeah, like you're in it.
Yeah.
So I love that. I just want to feel for a little bit how it feels to like live where like the culture is like literally in front of my face.
Yeah. The thing is, I think with First Nations fashion, this is my own opinion, by the way, so like just hear me out. But I think like we're kind of boxed into it looking this one way, or like always having this
contemporary culture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's really frustrating because it's like, well, what if I just want to have a beige brand and it just be owned by a black fella?
This is what I talk about all the time.
And it's just neutrals. It doesn't have any art on it. It doesn't have any First Nations story. It's just, I just want to make neutrals.
People always come to me and say, why don't you put Aboriginal artwork on your sunglasses? And I get that from white people. And I'm like, and I'm like,
the audacity.
I know, but it's so cliche that like, and I love every black fella brand that does it, good on you. But I wanted to create something that was like, oh, that's still a black fella brand even without the artwork.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
I'm trying to like modernize it, but still keep that culture into it.
Keep the roots there. The roots are that you are an Aboriginal man who started an Aboriginal business.
Yeah.
But the actual products don't always have to.
They don't need to have the artwork on it.
They don't need to scream, I'm black.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
It's the story of why you started it is the roots of the product. You know what I mean?
Like a similar thing that I had these thoughts, basically exactly these thoughts around why do you have to always prove the point that you're a First Nations person? Because I used to have Aboriginal as the first thing on my Instagram. And I removed it a couple of weeks ago because I was like, I'm comfortable enough in my own skin now that I don't need to scream it from the rooftops and be like, I'm a First Nations TV presenter. I'm a First Nations entertainment reporter. Yeah. I'm just a First Nations person who does a job. It's like I don't need, they would never say that, you know, that's a white TV presenter, that's a white entertainment reporter, that's a white podcast host. No, they would just say TV presenter, entertainment reporter, and podcast host.
Yeah.
So for me, I like took that away because it's about me being comfortable in my own skin and being like, you know what? The representation is who I am. I don't have to then force it for you guys to understand it.
Putting that label there, though, it's like it's feeding into that tokenism.
Yeah.
Because you know, like you're being tokenized when someone's like, oh, that's a First Nations model. Like,
Yeah.
no, bitch, I'm a fucking model.
Yes.
You know? And like when people come to me like, oh, that's a First Nations content creator. No, I'm just a content creator.
100%.
You know? Like I'm
exactly.
black, I
Yeah.
get it, and I love
Yeah.
that, but I'm not going to be segregated into a
It's a
different box
subclass,
compared to everyone
yeah.
else.
I agree. I mean, I'm guilty of having to say that plenty of times
Yeah.
to solidify my position in that.
Yeah.
Like, take up space.
Yeah.
In a sense. And sometimes I still feel guilty because I'm like, oh, someone else could be in this space. Like, I don't deserve sometimes. You know, I have these little imposter syndrome moments.
Yeah.
But I'm like, no, fuck this. Like, I am proud and I am black and I'm happy to say that and announce that. Like, it's...
Yeah.
But I'm very wary of the people that I'm saying it to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, like, who I'm saying it to. Like, when I'm with other mob, I'm like, yeah, like, I don't have to say, oh, I'm, you know, da-da-da. Like, you read the
We
room.
get it, yeah.
You understand the spaces you are in. And then you do have to kind of, I guess, yeah, again, solidify that position. But then it's, like, so frustrating at the same time. It's such a conflict, right? It is such a, like, a two worlds kind of thing. Like,
Yeah.
you know they're black, but you have to kind of prove that you are in these spaces. And that's the frustrating, I think. Because, okay, let's talk about, you know, that in a sense with fashion. Because you just said you're a model. You're not a First Nations model. Yes, you are a First Nations model, but you're a model and you
Yeah.
have modeled. And what do you think, I guess, the expansion of having First Nations runways? Like, are they separating themselves from the bigger industry of fashion, or do you think that it needs to happen in order to insert ourselves into the fast? That's a big loaded question.
No, I get
but,
it.
Yeah.
I have definitely had this thought, and I'm like, oh, like, should we have our own separate show, as we already do?
Yes.
And I think it's great. I love that we have our own show to just focus on First Nations, like designers and models. But in saying that, I feel like it also should be weaved into these like white shows, and that's what I think it was Melbourne Fashion Week.
They did
last
that.
year. They weaved every single show had an Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islanders designer in every single show.
Yeah.
And I love that because it wasn't just segregated to be like, oh, like,
Come on this day and watch all of the artists on this one
yeah,
day.
literally.
And then never
Like,
see
let's
them
just
again.
segregate. Like, we have Gambu Mara as one of the runways. Like, that's the only show that's going to show like black fellas. Like, no, it was so good to see that every other show during that whole week had black models, black designers, everything. So
Yeah.
I like that they can weave it in.
Yeah.
But and it's so like you can see it like when people are just like, yep, just gonna put the First Nations over there.
Yeah.
I agree. Hey, Maddie and I went to fashion. When did we go? Like 2 years
Last
ago?
year.
Last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I said to Maddie, I feel those things I feel very confronted by fashion shows
Yeah.
because I've always been interested in fashion. Like, I love clothes. If you came to my house, you'd be like, what the fuck, bitch? You need to get rid of this shit. Like, my house is overloaded. But we struggled, hey, Maddie, like, one, what to wear and, like, what was appropriate and what's relevant. And we wanted to wear First Nations artists, but then we were like, no, we're just, like, going to pigeonhole ourselves in that. Like, obviously we want to wear things with pride. But then when we went, we found it really confronting, like, those events are just kind of, like, looking at one another.
No,
Yeah.
it is.
And
It
it's
is.
so hard being judged by what you wear. And it's
Yeah.
so, like, polarizing. Like, it's just, like, shunk and straight in. And I said to myself I would never go to like again, but I did, and I forced myself to. But yeah, you how do you feel, I guess, being also like the main person that is wearing like the clothing and like walking down the runway? Because Maddie walked down the runway last year. Hey,
You did, you
I
big
did.
lovely thing.
That was the the closing runway, and it was like a
and you walked
massive.
next to Cassie, didn't you?
Yeah, that was like a beautiful moment and like a moment that I will like remember forever. But I also wouldn't do it again. And I think that I realized that fashion to me seems quite superficial, even though there is an underlying love and genuine creativity and brilliance within the industry. I felt like it's just not the place for me.
Yeah.
And the reason I felt that is because I felt like there was a lot of judgment. And maybe that's what fashion is. But for me, it didn't feel like a safe place. It felt like a place that was full of superficiality and judgment. And I don't know, it's just like a sphere that I'm definitely like arm's length away from now. But did you ever feel that when you first started, or do you still feel that now? And is it something that you think is something you get used to, or?
No, 100%. I do feel that. Like, and I still feel it now. Like, I'm still like in the space and I still go see shows. And like this year, I'm actually the head stylist for the David Jones Indigenous Fashion Projects at Oz Fashion Week. So it's a very big change for me to be in that space, because I've never been at like a fashion week or a fashion festival and been in that position, you know?
You're like directing and picking and
like behind the scenes doing all that stuff. And I feel very grateful, and I love that, because I feel like I have the power to change something.
Yeah.
Like, you know?
Yeah.
But going back to like being a model or like going to view the shows, viewing the shows, it's so... For some people, you know who is there to love the fashion, and you know who's there to just show themselves off.
Yeah.
And it's the materialistic ones that just walk around and try to get a fucking photo and pretend that the paparazzi's watching them. Or it's the ones that actually go there, know who's in the show, know who's actually the head stylist, know who's a part of it, and sit there and actually like dive into like watch the show, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, there's different aspects to what I enjoy about the show and like what I don't. I wasn't going to go to Fashion Festival this year in Melbourne because I was like, oh, like I'm kind of over just going to like watch these shows, and like the pre-event is just full of people that just want to show themselves off. And I love it. Show yourself off. Like, confidence is key.
Yeah.
But it's also there's people that are real cocky about it. So, but I did go. I ended up going, and I'm really glad that I did, because there was some beautiful pieces that I've noted down for future like shoots and everything. Because that's what I do. Like, I go there and I'm like, I want that piece
It's
in
like
a shoot,
research,
or like
right?
I want to wear that to an event, you know?
Yeah. I agree.
But on the model side of it, it's so different. Every show is so different. And like, I've done black shows and I've done like non-Indigenous shows, and you can definitely tell like the difference.
Yeah.
Because like doing like, I was so nervous doing like my first ever like non-Indigenous show. And that was my first ever fashion week here in Melbourne. I was shitting myself. I was like, oh my God, am I going to be the token? Am I going to be like the only black person?
You would have those thoughts.
You
because-
do, yeah. And like, do these like other models, like these gubbers, like, do they have that thought in their mind? Like, do they have anxiety to be like, oh, like, who's going to be there? Am I going to be like the token? No, they don't.
That's so crazy, because I think that kind of goes. I got the word safe. Like, when you are more safe in those places, you feel like you can do it, right?
100%.
But I think that's what the industry over the years hasn't really created for a lot of First Nations people. Like, we're only we've been doing art for centuries, and now our art is getting showcased, and it's getting showcased on different, I guess, mediums.
Yeah.
And we're able to say that and show that. But the spaces that we're doing that haven't always historically been safe.
Yeah.
And I think that's what concerns me, because I'm all about safety for mob in some ways, because I don't feel safe in these spaces. So I'm like wondering how everyone else is feeling safe.
Yeah.
When it's mob owned, mob directed, mob casted, and mob like produced, it's so much better. Like, I just feel like, oh, I can breathe easier. It's great. Like, the Gambumara show this year was amazing.
Yeah.
And it was nice to see that it wasn't just like only First Nations people that were coming to see a First Nations show. It was really well diverse in who was at the show. And I think that's really special, because, that's what happens. They're like, oh, there's a blackfella show. We'll just invite all the blackfellas. And it's like, well, no, we're here to showcase our work and showcase you these beautiful pieces.
To other people.
To everyone.
To the wider communities.
We invite that. We invite that. But we're not also we're not invited to the same spaces all the time.
Yeah.
And we have started to have that. We've started to have those invitations. And now we're sort of, in spaces that we're taking up that space again. Mm-hmm. But only when we sort of like not force ourselves, but like, I mean, you can imagine like TikTok is a crazy world, and not to bring it up again because it's like separate to, I guess, the fashion industry. But like TikTok, you can kind of hide behind
100%.
something. Where in fashion industry, and you're going to these shows, you can't really hide. Like you're there and you're on showcase, and it's really difficult. Like to be, because there's a version of me that I have to put on when I'm at those places, and I wouldn't probably be the same to the way that I am with Mob as well. Like I have to be, you know what I mean, like Maddie, like with the masks that we have to constantly put on. Like,
I get it 100%. Yeah, because I'm a different person. Like on TikTok, I'm so out there and very like, I don't know, confident. I'm still confident in person. Yeah. But when I go to these places and like these events, I'm somewhat shy. But then I think to myself, I have to be that person that got invited to the fucking event, you know? And that was me on TikTok.
Yeah, you have to step into like these different like shoes or like these. It's crazy, hey, because we talk about this like it's like walking in like 4 worlds.
I've always said that I'm 3 different people. Like TikTok, I'm completely different. Instagram, I'm completely different. And in person, I'm different. But this year, I've just said, fuck it. I'm just going to merge it all in. I don't give a fuck. I am just going to show the world that I'm just one person and that's it.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love that.
Me
and you're going to show Italy exactly who you are when you move there. So make sure you keep us up to date of what's happening. We'll obviously follow on your TikTok. But I am so keen. I love the Italian, I suppose, inspired shoot that you did for the next range of Rowland Vision.
You know, I've got to be extra.
That was so hot. Like, that was great. But, yeah, please keep us up to date because we're so excited to see what happens in the future. And if you want it to be somewhere for fashion, like, I mean, Milan.
I know. I'm manifesting that I go to Milan
or
anywhere and Naomi Campbell just, like, looks at me because we know that Naomi Campbell loves us black fellas down here. I just manifesting it that she sees me and she goes, black fella, you're under my wing. Let's go.
Ooh, okay, well, we're manifesting that for you too. 100%.
I see it. I'm a witch and I already see it.
Auntie Naomi.
I reckon 100%. I also love the immersion of culture that you're creating with Rowland Vision. So if you want to check out Lindyn's brand, it's called Rowland Vision. There's a perfume coming soon. Can we get like an idea of what the perfume smells like?
Yes. Well, I've been working on it for so long now. It's definitely going to be something that I want people to be like, look at me and be like, oh, that's what he smells like.
Buru.
Say like buru, yeah, dirty dog buru. No, it's you're bad, Maddie. Smells like your buru.
He's in such a cheeky mood today.
I'm cheeky today. I am.
Did you get laid this morning or what's going on?
Hey, did you get some buru this morning?
Is that why?
No.
Yeah, you did.
No, I didn't. I went for a walk, had a coffee, went for a walk. That's all.
Nah, it smells like it's gonna have like very woody scents. It's gonna be I do want it to be I like to say bisexual, but it's unisex, you know?
Yes. I love this.
Yeah.
Sandalwood, like
I want it to be very woody, like oody. Just I want to kind of have that like earth smell.
Yeah.
I do have a sample at home that I've like been tweaking and I love it. It does smell beautiful. One person that does love it is my dad, and I didn't think he would love it because he's so just like judgmental. Like he's not judgmental, but he's very honest. A bit too fucking honest, I tell ya. Like, Brett, calm down. But he loved it. He was obsessed.
Good.
And I was like, come on now, Brett.
When you said wood and you were like, I want it to be like really earthy, all I was thinking was like smoke and ceremony vibes.
Oh, not so much. You spray it on and it's like, yeah, that's your welcome to country.
You're welcome to country.
Yeah, look, that'll be my ad. I'll be like, welcome to country.
Yeah, welcome to country. That's your ad. There, done. Creative, done.
No, it will be. Welcome to country.
That's look, we've been marketing directors here.
Yeah, you just get 10%.
Hire us now. Oh, God.
Oh, that
Anyways,
was good, but
that's all we have time for today. Thank you so much, Lindyn, for coming in today.
Thank you.
And I hope everyone loves this episode because, fuck, it was unhinged.
Yeah.
It was a lot. Yeah,
that's first things first.
Yeah, it's like my last 3 brain cells just having a chat.
Seriously. Well, if you want us to cover anything on the pod, you mob who are listening, make sure you reach out and let us know. Brooke's handle is @Brooke.Blurton. Mine is @It'sMaddieMills. And Lindyn, tell the listeners your handle.
@Lindyn Rowland.
And Rowland Vision.
Oh, and Rowland Vision. Sorry. Yeah. Rowland Vision.
And to his TikTok is Lindyn Rowland as well.
Yep.
All right. We'll see you on the next episode. Bye.
Bye.